About 1 to 2 months ago, I spent some time discussing my top favorite male JoJo outfits, and a lot of people called out how Jotaro wasn't included, fairly so, but I wanted to spend some more time to talk about his style separately, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hola, my name is X, and I like to experiment with fashion as well as talk about whatever the hell I want on social media whenever I feel like it. And in this video, I'm literally going to overanalyze the living fuck out of Jotaro Kujo's style and fashion, just to drag you through the process I went through to contextualize my feelings on his different outfits throughout the JoJo series. I'm not sure how long this is going to take me, so let's just get straight into the agenda, because I'm taking a slightly different approach than my past videos. There's going to be 5 parts, and I'm going to start by giving a quick overview of Jotaro Kujo as well as his personal style, because he definitely has one. Then discuss who in the real world I think that sense of style is best suited for, and why. Then for the following 4 parts, I'm going to go into each of his outfits specifically within each of the 4 parts he appears in. Within the first outfit, I'm really going to do a lot of comparisons just to contextualize how I feel about his core style. And then for the latter 3 looks, I'm going to discuss some different kind of variations I would have maybe made to them, as well as how I would have reorganized where and how they appear as we see Jotaro in the subsequent parts. If I could give you my own personal TLDR on who Jotaro is, he's the typical tall, dark, and handsome male archetype character. He's calm, cool, collected, mysterious, intelligent. He tries to come off as uninterested and nonchalant, but deep down he truly cares about those he's most loyal to and does want what's ultimately best in the world. He's not a nice guy, but he's not a bad guy. So he's kind of like that good bad boy kind of type. I wasn't very surprised when I learned that his character is actually inspired by Clint Eastwood. And if you don't know who Clint Eastwood is, he's a very famous classic actor that starred in a bunch of action films, giving us a lot of machismo, bravado, and just like that typical tough guy persona and vibe. And we definitely see a lot of that energy coming through in Jotaro as a character. As far as personal style, Jotaro likes what he likes, and we know what we can expect from him. We're going to get some sort of large trench coat, some sort of pant, paired with maybe even a boot, but typically it's been like a dress shoe, and then his like cadet military army style cap. It's the accessories and the top that are most subject to variability. So with that, it should be obvious that I think that his style is best predisposed to heterosexual men. But in general, I think that his personal style is best suited towards those who maybe don't really know what all to put together and just want a few select pieces to make a very well put together look without too much effort. In addition to that, I do still think that Jotaro's outfit structure leaves room for some experimentation and playing around from a styling perspective, just to help people further hone in on what they like and what they don't like. And this can be done in 3 main ways. The first is through the top. Like I said, throughout Jotaro's outfits, the top was the most subject to variability. You could wear a button down, a t-shirt, a vest, a combination of different layers, and you can still get a good sense on what works and coordinates well together, even if the hat, the jacket, the pants, and the shoes all remain the same. Next, you can accessorize differently, playing around with belts, jewelry, different sort of elements just to further accentuate the base of the look, especially if it's in a place that you like. And 3, in textures and patterns and colors, which I think is always a great way to kind of differentiate, play around, and express yourself. And we definitely see that that's something that Jotaro is taking advantage of within his style journey. Now that we've gotten very loosely acquainted with Jotaro Kujo and his personal style from a macro perspective, let's dive deep into each of the 4 parts in which he shows up within the JoJo series and analyze his different styles and just go along the journey and the thought process of like how I felt about those different looks. And there are 2 videos that I found that kind of did something similar, but they really focus on more of the character development side. One was the different shades of Jotaro Kujo, and the other one was the evolution of Jotaro Kujo. I'm going to focus more so on the clothes and some opinions there, just as a build and to not be too redundant to already great overviews that have been done in the past. Starting with Stardust Crusaders, which is the 3rd part within the JoJo series. First things first, I like Jotaro here. I think that he looks really cool. I've said before that I think gold and black are a very classic combination. I'm not one for olive, but I feel like it fits within the overall kind of like dark, muted color scheme that he has going on. I think that the belts are a nice little extra touch and pop of color and pattern in an overall pretty flat outfit. the gold chain is about the most interesting element within this outfit, and it's really giving it most of its weight both figuratively and literally. In comparing Jotaro to his team members in Stardust Crusaders, I mean, Joseph, it's giving Indiana Jones. I don't even really consider that a strong comparison point. He just literally looks like an Indiana Jones copy-paste. Abdal, I feel like it's just blowing him away with the style. Like I said, oversized dream, we're getting layers, we're getting dimension, we're getting also gold jewelry, but it feels a little more natural to him and like he's really owning it. And the outfit isn't fully dependent on that to give it its kind of awe or attraction. While I love Polnareff's top, I think it's really interesting, the rest of the outfit just feels really lackluster to me, and it didn't really blow me away or really just kind of give me anything too interesting out of the box outside of the top. So I definitely think that Jotaro's better dressed than he is, but I feel like Abdal just really steals the show and sets the tone and represents well for the male protagonists in the grand scheme of JoJo male fashion. And I feel like Jotaro's so close, but it's just missing a little bit more to kind of push it over the edge in favoritism for me. Now let's compare him to the other Jo stars, and I want to do it in 3 different buckets. One with like the OG Jo stars, Jonathan Joseph, then going into Josuke and Giorno, and then comparing him to Johnny and Josuke from part 7 and 8, since I haven't taken a look at their outfits quite yet. Now, Jonathan's outfit wasn't a favorite for me because I still feel like it was pretty tame and safe. We are getting a little bit of like a crop and some kind of interesting accessorized pieces, but overall it still feels pretty plain, especially in comparison to Joseph, who is also pretty minimalist in his outfit, but it's just giving so much more in terms of body confidence, pizzazz, and expression, which is why I chose him as one of my top favorite male JoJo outfits. But when we compare Joseph to Jotaro, it's almost such a huge contrast. And I feel like Joseph gives so much more through the outfit with the slimness, with the body confidence, with some more kind of like non-traditional clothing items, which is why I like to always settle on Jotaro as being a bit more safe. And I feel like even though he contributed a lot character-wise, maybe even more so than Joseph, Joseph is just giving us so much more. That's why it's a favorite for me. And also just a crop. There's nothing wrong with the crop. But okay, those are kind of 2 different genres of fashion. So let's take a look at Josuke and Giorno, who are also wearing pretty overall coordinated outfits, similar to Jotaro. But I guess the exercise that I would think about here is, could you find all the same pieces that Josuke and Giorno are wearing compared to Jotaro? You could easily, I feel like, and I went through the exercise of finding similar pieces to what Jotaro's wearing on Amazon. But if you wanted a suit like Josuke's or a suit like Giorno's, that's custom work. You have to pay for that, you know? Like, sure, Josuke's might just be considered like an oversized suit. It's not just oversized. It's like tailored around the waist, and it has some length to it. And it's just like, that's something that someone's gonna have to craft specifically for that kind of fit. And then Giorno's has a huge heart in the chest. It's just like, not only are we getting some body confidence, but we're just getting a very interesting cutout compared to the flat, standard look that Jotaro's giving. Now, when we look ahead at Johnny and Josuke from 7 and 8, Johnny's is much more interesting, but I also feel like a bit more on a kind of minimalist side. I didn't choose this as a top favorite outfit either, because while I love the pattern and the style that we're getting in the pants and the shoes, and even some of the kind of accessorizing that we're getting in his top, I actually still feel like it looks a little bit plain. Take away some of like the star decorations and maybe just some of the extra layering of the blue on the arms, and it's a pretty standard, but the experimentation of it, I think, gives a little more points than Jotaro's, which again just feels safe, classic, clean. But I would even say from like a thematic suit perspective and looking at Josuke compared to Jotaro, where we have like a sailor type uniform suit compared to like more of a military cadet style outfit, I feel like Josuke's is more fun, playful, and youthful, and gives even a little bit of that body confidence with just a little bit of a crop. So even though I'm really not partial towards just like generic kind of suit uniform style things, I feel like Josuke's is done in a more fun and interesting way but it still isn't really giving much more star power or pizzazz than I feel like what Jotaro's is giving. So yeah, these all three weren't really a favorite, and I feel like they all kind of struggle with very similar things in terms of pushing the needle for my taste. Then moving into Diamond is Unbreakable, which is the fourth part within the JoJo series. Here we really see Jotaro's style open up in a way that I much more appreciate than what we got in Stardust Crusaders. I love the all white. It is just so clean, so refreshing. I love the incorporation of some teal, some blue, some purple. I think the belts give good structure. I think the accessories give good kind of strength and polish to his look. So overall, we're just getting so much more to work with. I will still say, however, that I think the outfits kind of do lean a little more pedestrian, which does fit the theme of Diamond is Unbreakable. It takes place in Mario, smaller kind of town vibe. It's not the big global grand adventure that maybe Jotaro's used to. So he can get away with being a little more everyday, a little more relaxed with his style. But I do think that the all white was a bit of a leap for him at this point in his character development. I actually think that the outfit could have been better in maybe more of a gray, even like a grayish purple or blue. I will say out of the two variations that he has in Diamond is Unbreakable, I like the version where there's like this black or all purple shirt that's very fitted underneath, and then there's like another purplish kind of vest that peeks out from the sides of the jacket. It just adds a bit more dimension to the layering that's going on. As far as characters that he looks similar to, I think he looks closest to Talents in this outfit. And I almost wonder if maybe Araki didn't kind of take some inspiration from the Talents outfit and bring it over into this Jotaro look. I think that Talents did wear it a little bit better. Again, I'm a little bit biased maybe towards the belted look, but I also just love how the chest opened up to like more of a heart kind of decoration. I still just think it's proportioned, formed, and styled in a way that's a little more interesting than what Jotaro has going on here. Which brings us into Golden Wind, which is the fifth part within the JoJo series. Now this, in my opinion, is peak Jotaro fashion. And I admittedly missed this part. I didn't see this outfit until I had actually watched the anime, which was after I made my initial JoJo videos, and I'm obsessed with this. I love that the teal color becomes a bit more prominent. It's a softer color than just the olive or the black from Stardust Crusaders, but it still just gives us a little more of a kind of a masculine color outside of maybe the more purple, which is unisex, but I still feel like blue and teals kind of lean a little more masculine. And I've already said this, I love when there's like a long jacket that's enclosed at the top, but opens up at the bottom for some drama and just for some extra shape. He's definitely got that going on here. And just in general, I think the white is better suited for Stone Ocean. He is a professor at 40 years old in Stone Ocean, that this just kind of white coat look really ladders up to that a bit more. And I feel like Stone Ocean is the softest in which he is emotionally in trying to really connect and bridge that disconnect with Jolene. And just the white is a good contrast to the black that Pucci's wearing. And we almost have like a little bit like a cross design in the shirt underneath the jacket. So far between Diamond is Unbreakable and Golden Wind, love the all white, love the softening, love the opening up of his character and his style, but I just feel like we could definitely use some reorganizing, which I'll explain why next. In Stone Ocean, which is the sixth part within the JoJo series. So I have mixed feelings on this outfit. On one end, I love the extent to which it's loud, it's expressive. I feel like we've really reached a crescendo with opening up the possibilities and extent of Jotaro's style. I like some play on color and patterns. Like I said, I feel like that's a really great way to experiment. But just because you're experimenting doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it. And I don't think that I like just how loud this is, and I don't actually think it fits Jotaro very well. I feel like it fits the context of Stone Ocean and the setting, which there's a lot of really interesting styles that the characters are wearing. So I feel like he's keeping up with the times, but I feel like it's a bit of a regressed look in line with how his character's developing. Again, I just feel like this would have been better suited for 28, 27-year-old Jotaro. I feel like this is very in line with what a young man would wear. And I still feel like it has enough kind of character and flair and some boldness to build off of an all black look into an all white look in later stages of life. This almost feels like a spin-off outside of the main series, kind of like JoJo's situation that he starred in, or maybe like some sort of collaboration. Now, mind you, I still plan to dress somewhere along these lines when I'm in my 40s, probably even a little more out there. So I'm not trying to say that you can't dress a certain way at a certain age. But I do think that there are naturally choices that are more flattering than others. He has some of the similar kind of elements in his Stone Ocean look that he has in his Stardust Crusaders look. More particularly the gold chain that hangs from the collar of the jacket. So I still think that this would have been a more mature and refined and opened up outfit for him, but I think it would have been a better build from Stardust Crusaders into the all-white outfits that we see him depicted in. And I just feel like on the spectrum of his development, it would have been really great to see something like this thrown in the middle when he was still a little bit more of like a wild card, not when he's really trying to reach his emotional peak and climax. And that wraps up my over-analysis of Jotaro Kujo's personal style. Let me know what you think. Did I do him justice? I think I did. I know what maybe didn't work for me probably worked really well for other people. But at the least, I think this was a really interesting exploration of personal style. I'm really having a fun time exploring a more macro concept with regard to this, and then drilling into how specific examples pay that off. Plenty more characters to choose from across all kinds of media. Looking forward to getting there. But until the next video, I'll talk to you later.